not just to protect other border society, but to get what will I eat tomorrow.
We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Ask them, do they have an officer in Mandera to deal with issues?
Ukimshika na makosa, kuna kitu wanaita maslahi. Hiyo kwao ni kitu kikubwa sana. Anaweza kukufanyia anything.
It is not the security officers who are corrupt. Who corrupts them? And that is a fundamental question Kenyans don't ask themselves.
In the week that we've been in Mandera town, we've spoken to relatives of young men and women who have crossed over to Somalia to join the terror outfit. Many women here explain how desperation and radicalization has driven their sons to the forefront of terrorism. No one, however, is willing to go on record. We've been told of a young man who joined the Al-Shabaab. For 5 days, he has promised to give us an interview. But he's cancelled on us a few times. Today, he says he's ready to meet us. We drive into the outskirts of the town, away from the area of security patrols. It's taken a lot of convincing to get him to meet us, and he says he'll pick the location of the interview. We are cautious. Those who've come into contact with Al-Shabaab recruits have warned us that they are armed and unpredictable. He's covered his face. He says he can't fully trust us. He looks like any ordinary teenager. His voice is calm, but he tells us he doesn't have much time. He prefers to speak in his mother tongue for our interview, so we have to use a Somali translator.
Al-Shabaab waxay ugu qasbeen oo ku biir. Aniga nin daayaraha ayaa Kenyan baa u dhashay ayaa. Hooyadii aabbayn anigoo yar bay mutay ayaa. Ka dambana anigana class-eight markaan dhameeyay. Secondary form 1 aan ugu baxay. Waxay iga bixiyeen waan waayay. Markii waxay iga bixiyeen waan waayay. Aan qaraabana waan waayay. Sidii darteed duruufta ay u kalaftay aan u raacay. School kumeqaada kalaaska ugu baacday ama formka ugu baacday formana ugu baacday form 1 meeqaad sana jir ee markaad al-shabaab ku beeraysay markaan shabaab ku beeray waxaan nahay 17 sana jir 17 hadda meeqaa jirtaa hadda 19 jir akhi maadaama dhulka al-shabaab ku beertay life history-ga maxaa noo sheegi kartaa life history-geedu waxaan kaga sheegi karaa waxyaabo badan aan kala kulmay inta horaan dhib baan ku jiray dhibkii isagaa hadda waan ka baxay horaan waxaan ahay nin arday iskuul Kenyaati reer Mandera ayaan ahaa aye maadaama inta Mandera laga helay laakiin marka fast lagu qoray xagee baa laga qoray aniga markii lagu qoray Soomaaliya lagu qoray balaha baa lagu qoray meeqaadkii markaas la qoray annaga dad badan aan helin oo ku faafsanay dhulka marka waxaan ilaa iyo ay kuwan Kenya ay training yar baa la geeyay waa la soo tababaray tababarkii baan soo dhamaysanay tababarkii markaa soo dhamaysanay ka dambe waxaa loo ballan qaaday sifo hooshii aan rabnay inaan ku dhaqaaqno go-aankii aan gaarina midna waa Abdirashiidu maadaama al-shabaabti meeqaa Kenyaan ah ku tihiin oo al-shabaabtiin oo meesha joogtiin hadda wallahi way fara badan yihiin dhalinyaro fara badan ku jirto kuwa hadda training ku jiro kuwa horaan oo ayagana training horaan ugu hor dhameeyeen kuwa anagaas la dhameeyni magaalada kooda buuxaan marka reegana qaar qeybo badan loo diraa baag kuwa la jirto madax jibisa madax bay soo jibiyaan qof baa loo diraa kuwa kaleetana waxaa way ismiidaamin wixii oo dhanba qof walbaba walwal baa loo diri dhanka dawladda xaggeedana wax walbaba Kenya waa corruption ku dhisan tahay corruptionkii sidii lagu lisi wadaa.
After the bus attack, Most non-local teachers have refused to return to Mandera to teach. Only a handful were brave enough to return. But working here is like walking a tightrope.
When people were being unloaded from the dead people were being unloaded from the police truck, there are the 6 of them, I was here. Whatever followed after that, I witnessed.
And all the time when we move around, especially when night approaches, there is that fear that comes and you wonder what will happen this night.
By night time, the streets of Mandera fall quiet. There is no official curfew in this town, but residents know that when darkness falls, everyone has to go in to keep their safety. Now, this is the second night that we're trying to go on patrol with members of the KPR, that's the Kenya Police Reserves. Last night, we attempted to go on patrol into town, but unfortunately there was an attack where 1 person died and 2 were left seriously injured. So let's see how tonight goes. Under the county commander, police officers and the Kenya Police Reservists make their patrols around town throughout the night.
Bravo 5 from Kilo Papa.
Every now and then, the military reminds the town of its presence. But mostly, the KPR are in the front line.
KPRs are doing a wonderful job. I cannot say they are not doing. They are doing a wonderful job. Since they were recruited, they have been patrolling this town.
Iko police wala uko police station. Wao kazi yao ni patrol within town. Lakini sisi wa border, sisi ni border. We don't have a vehicle to patrol, so we use foot patrol. So most of the time we want to end your foot patrol because ya riski ile iko pale. Mtu anaweza kupanda ile na anakuona, anakushoot.
Tonight, the KPR appear thorough, checking every vehicle and person they meet on their way. But according to the police officers we spoke to, having the KPR around can sometimes compromise security operations.
Kama mimi askari Somali atakuuza na operation afanyika na atapigia mtu fulani simu atamwambia hii na hii tutakuja kachonjo tutazamisha vitu zako napeleke ng'ambo ya Somalia ama atakuja Somali tutakuja na gari fulani alafu nitavaa kofia yetu ya askari in a different way. Lakini ukiona nimevaa hivyo, mimi ni mwenzako. So tunajua tutapata challenge kama askari. Sisi tutapigwa lakini hatapigwa. Sasa kuna ule kuuza.
If the national government is worried about politically fueled clanism in Mandera, why would they allow more than 100 armed reservists working under the county's payroll to play such a major role in night patrols?
They offered to give some emoluments as an incentive to these people who are villagers, they are old men, unemployed young people, because they understand the local dynamics of policing, they will understand the language. They offered to support them so that they can be committed to help promote security and stability of this county. So if on the whole have failed, I think us and the county government have failed.
Kuna siku tulipatrol sisi wenyewe polisi. Wakati tunapatrol tulirushiwa grenade ndani ya gari. Saa hii nikikueleza wenzangu wako nyumbani mpaka saa hii. Sijui kama wamelipwa. It's almost now 2 years. So hiyo kuona huo uoga, unarushiwa, unapigiwa, so ni ngumu wewe kutoka. Mkubwa atakueleza endeni patrol. Tutatoka na gari lakini tutaenda tujifiche.
Many of officers have been injured. Some have been killed. So we are understaffed. We are less. So when the KPRs are recruited, they take over our town. But we have some officers who are patrolling them, but very few.
Ile transfer ile wanasema tumepeleka maofisa wengi huko, hakuna, hawafiki. Inasemekana tu iko wanakuja lakini hawafiki.
In 2006, US intelligence believed that Al-Shabaab had a few hundred fighters. But by the end of 2014, the terror group was said to have recruited at least 6,000 fighters. Dozens of those operate in Mandera County.
Somalia National Army, supported by AMISOM troops, have liberated Adale, a town in the middle of the Shabelle region, from the militant group Al-Shabaab.
Now, and one of the remaining stronghold of Al-Shabaab, Jawhar, has been captured by AMISOM with support from the Somalia National Army.
My colleague Mohammed Mahmoud narrates how the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, captured the coastal port city of Barawe, which is 220 kilometers southwest of the capital, Mogadishu.
Thought to have previously controlled a huge part of Somalia, analysts say that currently the Al-Shabaab are at their weakest point. A US drone attack killed their leader Ahmed Godane last year. Leadership wrangles are reported to be splitting the group and in turn weakening it.
Now the only way they can survive is border between Kenya and Somalia. Why are they going to survive? Because our youth of northern Kenya became a breeding ground for them. Because of their past histories, because of the marginalizations of the regions, because of inclusion, because of what they call lack of the proper infrastructure.
Despite the military pressure on Al-Shabaab back in Somalia, it's believed that a steady source of funding has allowed the group to reinvent itself. According to a UN monitoring group, it's estimated that the charcoal trade banks at least $250 million per year. The UN estimates that at least a third of that lines the Al-Shabaab's pocket. With this constant stream of funding, the group has been able to lure young men and women, especially in northern Kenya, to join their cause. School dropouts in Mandera are always an easy target for Al-Shabaab recruiters. Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa play a strategic role in Al-Shabaab recruitment. On March 29th this year, 3 women believed by intelligence officers to have been on their way to Al-Shabaab bases in Somalia were arrested while reportedly crossing the border at Elwak town in Mandera. Police believe they were joining the group as brides for the fighters. According to reports, the Al-Shabaab has stepped up its recruitment drive in Kenya and the neighboring Tanzania. The internet and videos of radical preachers are said to be the most frequent means of recruitment by the Somali extremist group.
Wale wanakuja for recruitment. Wanakuja from Nairobi ama kama wa Tanzania kutoka Nairobi. Kuna wengine tulishika na walikuwa na wamechora from Nairobi to Garissa. Anafika pale anapewa pesa, anapandishwa basi wajia akifika anapewa pesa tena. Tumandera fika Mandera pale basi. Ile boda haitafungwa, watakaa pale usiku wanapitishwa na wanaenda. Wakimaliza shughuli watarudia pale sababu hakuna mtu na patrol. Na wakija watasema sisi tumekuja kutafuta biashara. Sasa ni askari huyu mtu ile information akupatia sio kamili. So atapanda basi na atarudi Tanzania. Na ni rahisi sana kufanya vitu lakini Mandera tera kama 80% watu Mandera wanajua what is happening.
If the Garissa campus attack is anything to go by, then the rate of radicalization inside Kenya should be a cause for concern. This police alert, issued in the wake of the deadly Garissa University siege, names this man, Mohammed Mahmoud Kuno, as the mastermind of this attack and those in Mandera. Identified as a Kenyan teacher, Kuno is said to have been a principal of a madrasa in Garissa before being appointed to head Al-Shabaab's external operations. But Mandera County would feature even more prominently in this attack. One of the more unusual attackers was identified as Abdurrahim Abdullahi, a graduate, an upcoming lawyer, and the son of a chief in Mandera. It has now emerged that the chief had sometime last year reported that his son had gone missing and had probably crossed into Somalia. a claim that would be backed up by leaders from the region in the wake of the Garissa attack.
We will, with immediate effect, commence to identify them, to document them, and to expose all the members, the financiers, and sympathizers of Al-Shabaab within the next 1 month.
And the claims by the self-confessed Al-Shabaab recruit in Mandera appeared to confirm that indeed many young men have crossed the border to join Al-Shabaab, and that a number of them are now back in the country.
Madam Al-Shabaab team Mandera عدد ميقات وجوتين حساب والله وانفر بدن أنا أنت وراه سيجوت ما لكن أنت لا تقدم سوقش وهذا مقالة لغة تري وقلا مقالة كجرت وأبغل إلى وطن مقالة منديرة وهي كجرو توليال بالودرين بغل إلى وطن كاسيت أي مقالة جوت وحين وصوبه قال وعوصوبه عن اسم دامين قال وعوصوبه عن باك الله مدعجبس قفكي لو صدر أي مدعجبيان مركا لوضع سيت دين لا يوصوبهن ديرال كريتن way jiraan laakiin inta laga rabo magaalada inta ku jirto waxaan ku sugaynaa ninka anaga noo talinayo orderku soo diraayo orderkiisa markuu soo diro uu dhaa qol fulani soo fuli markaas intaan hawshaasaan ku dhaqaaqaynaa wax walba ay noqoto taa.
That net seems to have been cast even wider. Some survivors in the Garissa University attack reported that they heard the hooded gunmen speak fluent Swahili.
Gorsada qabyaalada hani qabiilkii waxaan idinka ku dhaqaaqdeen falkaas camal idinka annaga fal qabiil dhaha ma naqaano qabiil ma qorno qabiil aan ku jirin ma laha Kikuyu Mukambo inta Kenya ku nool oo qabiile Soomaali noqota iyo Adoon noqota Arab Pakistan Hindi iyo Ingiriis إذا كنت جريمة ترشيده ودتكان دومهم بوراش اللويا أيوة معلمين تللاي بس قاعد ودد اللوجر أتغير كود وسحن المدى على جتوتي فالكاس ما كنت جرتي مسوي ولا لا هذا وكنت جرا ما جرا فالكاسي تاني وكم جرا لكن دتكي أنا سكلوسو بان سكلوت كأنا شغل سكلوسو بان الدوام باو بدناي مركز دتكي أسي دتكي أيا كهاين أيا كنت جرين دتكي أيا كهاين أيا لاين وأنا شباب يعني مركز كاسيت وده سيت لوسي دكتي تذكي لاين واو مثل دوم دي كوي مكامبو مركز اللاين دي دانكاس ما جوتي مس مقالة منديرة ما جوتي مس بالحاو ما جوتي مس كينيا جودي حقيقي جوتي دي أنا ذاك مركز اللاين ذاك مركز اللاين يعني بالحاو بنجو maalintii gabanaga Mandera wadada Arabi loo galay ku jirtay dhulka la shabaab kuuma oo falkaas geysteen aniga kuma jirin laakiin waa qaybta anaga inaga mid ahaayeen waa ciidankii aan soo baahnay dib u iskula soo dhamaysanay marka gabanaga markii qarax uu dhacay aniga waxaan u sii kacay isbitaalka aniga oo dhacayada xiran marka aan soo fiirinay dhaawacay xaq baan ku sii maqnaa
These are the papers. I think we're done.
The revelations by leaders from the northeastern region have raised many questions about how much information resides in these communities but somehow does not find its way into decision-making about security. If these leaders are capable of identifying the enemy from within, why did it have to take the lives of 148 Kenyans in Garissa for them to come out with the information? And if recruiters and financiers are so well known to locals, what is the Kenyan intelligence doing in northern Kenya?
For God's sake, we do here across the world that Kenyan intelligence are number 1, number 2. But in Mandera, they are number 0. In fact, we don't know why. Why are we so number 1 in even taking to South Sudan or another countries? Our intelligence are so perfect while in our own soil Mandera, the terror is hitting us, and we don't have any information on that. Police do, but they are not reacting.
As a county commissioner, my jurisdiction is limited to the international boundary. What they do on the other side, I'm only able to gather information. There are movements. I don't live among them to know what they have planned. I don't understand the local language to know what they said yesterday and what they are planning to do. Unless the locals are willing to exactly tell us what is being said and what has been planned, because I said sympathizers are here, some financiers are here. We are trying our level best to unearth them. There are cells, and you know these cells are mutants. Today we may be investigating Asha Mwilu. When we want to arrest Asha Mwilu, we go for her. Tomorrow she has disappeared because we have uncovered you.
What does he know? Somebody who came from Kisii going to Mandera, how long it will take to learn the local people? How long will it take to learn even what they call the geography of the area? Why can't you recruit the local youth into police force, into military, into intelligence, so that they can easily gather, they can even interact with the people. They know who is wrong, who is right. They know who came from yesterday and who have been there for years and years to come.
Even though AMISOM is piling pressure on the Al-Shabaab in Somalia, Kenya appears to have dropped the ball in internal security. And where the war is being lost is as clear as day.
Sasa unapata umefanya arrest, lakini sasa pale katika ile process unaendelea, unakuja unapata ule mtu ametolewa. Ukiuliza wachana na hiyo mambo, ukifuatilia unapata alitolewa na mtu fulani ambaye sasa hujui. Kuna wengine kitu kama ni suspects, sympathizers na wako tu within Mandera. Huwa wanashikwa, wanapelekwa Nairobi, then wanakaa, wanarudi tena na wanaendelea na kazi zao. So we don't know what happened. Sisi tukishashika tukiwa handover, hatujui nini na happen. So mtu kama huyu akirudi, maisha yule askari alimshika na kuwa ni hatari. Siwezi kwenda town kwa sababu ule mtu ni mtu wa town.
As we leave Mandera, the team to construct the 8 billion shilling security wall at the border is on its way. A 200-kilometer wall that the government hopes will keep the enemy away.
So we will be starting the construction of the border next week.
A 200-kilometer wall being built in the ironic location where terror crosses boundaries and morphs into an image of itself. The enemy in Mandera is everywhere and nowhere. It's everyone and it's no one. But until all dimensions of this growing problem are honestly addressed, Mandera will remain a terror crossing, and winning the war against terrorism in Kenya will remain a distant mirage. Asha Mwilu, KTN.